Hi everyone, it's time for Blocktalk.
Blocktalk.
Blocktalk. Well, but first we got to talk about our sponsors because
Sponsors.
They take good care of us, and we got to mention them. So first off, we have Coinigy, professional tools for cryptocurrency traders. Basically, trading view, but it's been all peaked out to the nines for doing anything to do with altcoins. Connect all your exchanges, trade from one location. They got a bunch of cool widgets. They just came out with Google Sheets API program that you can actually do some pretty cool stuff with. So check it out. Go to coinigy.com/blocktalk to refer and help out the show. And then we also have Rational Investor.
Oh no way, Brian's one of our investor or sponsors.
Yeah, he's helping us out. Well, he's helping me out. I mean, because I'm doing his course at a discount, but I'm going to do a review of it. I assure you, I'm going to be very harsh, but very fair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very fair skinned.
Yeah. Brian's a good guy. I know he saved your skin earlier today.
He did. Oh, yesterday. Yeah.
Earlier this week. Yeah.
He did,
So he's a good guy. We thank him. And he does some pretty cool shows with Coinigy. So yeah, check it out if you're interested in learning more about trade. And finally, we have the coolest altcoin around, Jumpbucks, the biggest fans of the show, and they just do so much to help us out just with their fandom. So we gotta kick it back, and yeah, they like buying us beers from time to time too. Yeah. So if we're thirsty, maybe we'll get some with some Jumpbucks.
Yeah, great.
All right. So we're on Bitcoin block 382394, and
We can't see anything.
Yeah.
It's black.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that. Anyways, we'll just go back to our screen. Hi, I'm Alex. And then we have some special guests in tonight.
Yes, we do.
Our old friends.
Yes.
We got Not So Fast.
Howdy.
From Ontario.
Not terrible.
And we have Eduardo from the Sunshine Coast in British Columbia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
So,
Awesome. Yeah.
very good. I think I am in a great mood, but I don't let it get dictated by certain things that are going on right now. But we can't neglect to mention what is going on right now because it is amazing.
We should actually ask Eduardo to introduce himself and what his history is.
Yeah, I actually don't know a lot about Eduardo. Tell us about yourself.
Please. Look at this one.
Okay, so I've been involved in Bitcoin for almost since 2012, 2013. I started with mining. I caught the first wave of ASICs and rode it until they're no longer profitable. And since then, I've been focusing on trading and using that as a way to generate more Bitcoins and grow my holdings. And for the past year, I've actually learned quite a lot with that dreadful bear market we've been in. And now that we've reached the end of that, let's start applying all that knowledge to the upcoming bull market. So a little bit.
Well, in case anybody's been living under a rock and they decided to tune into our show to try and catch up, we have had an amazing bull market going on right now.
A bull run.
Yeah.
Bull run, yeah.
For some reason, my monitor is not coming up for doing extra pictures.
Yeah, you're right.
Here, let's share.
Are you sharing it on
which?
on your? Anyway, you're right. Let's use that one.
Okay. Got this. Come on, go. You got it.
There we go.
Okay. So let's look at the 1 day. Yeah, that's completely natural growth in terms of Bitcoin, right, guys?
Yeah.
Oh man, even looking at like the 1 week, it's pretty substantial.
And I mean, I'm just gonna jump in there and say this: does that not resemble what happened in 2013? Like, it's just parabolically, it's just perfect. You know, it matches its smaller scale, obviously, but fuck, it looks just like what happened in 2013.
Yeah.
Does anybody agree with me on that?
Yeah, looking at exactly the same shape there.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm wondering if you can switch that graph and change the bottom into the RSI graph instead of the moving average converged divergence.
RSI, that's in the tools, I think. Is it in our settings?
Just in their settings there.
Here, we'll go back to 1 day settings, moving average. What do you want to see? It was
Just the RSI.
RSI.
Yeah.
There we go.
Bam.
Okay. And if you pull that back just a little more so we can see the previous bubble and this bubble, it would be a really interesting graph to see right
Do the
now.
1 day, or the 1 day.
Well, you know what, Freddie? The scrolly wheel on this mouse here.
Yeah, the 3 day is the best one right now. Just extend a little bit to the 3-day.
Yeah, we'll look.
I can scroll it. Just go back to the other one and I'll scroll it for you.
Okay.
Okay, hold on a sec.
Ready to, we got some technical difficulties.
No, it's not scrolling.
Yeah.
Try going the
Yeah.
one way.
That's all.
So what I like about that graph there is it's showing the similarity between the two bubbles. And as you can see on that graph, things are just so overbought. It's almost as overbought as the previous bubble, but the volumes are much higher. And what I think is going to happen now is you're going to take a little break because you got pretty overbought. I mean, on the weekly, you got lots of room to run still.
Yeah.
But on the 3-day, you can see it's like almost the same as before. So I really do think we need a little break before we can go back to those levels again. So it's not going to be quite like the 2013 bubble, or like we went from 260 to 1200 pretty quick.
Well, let's get some theories going here as to what caused this bubble, because it seems like there's a lot of different factors. But I'm curious as to what you guys think really triggered this one.
Well, one of the things I read was I wish I'd brushed up on the names and everything, but there's that sort of Russian Ponzi investor spurring Chinese families to sort of group buy Bitcoin and then post records of their transactions, and there was sort of a social snowball of people buying Bitcoin in China, like just families with an easy avenue to send money and buy it. And part of this was a result of that, or I don't know what you guys have heard or whether you know a little bit more about it. I read one article, was trying to find more, and I couldn't really. So,
I'm going to jump in there. So Brian Beamish made a really good point on Wednesday night on his show with Coinergy. But there were two very interesting parallels. One was that there was with this break. Hey guy, we broke with the it broke at the top on a Ponzi scheme and also on a Silk Road sale. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that happened in March of this year also. It was a Silk Road sale and a Ponzi scheme sort of thing came out, and then it broke right there.
Yeah.
Interesting parallel. Very, very interesting parallel.
Mm-hmm.
That's what caused me to get out. But yeah, this Ponzi scheme thing, is there any more, you have more background on that?
No, like there's been so much misinformation. It's hard to pick up what's really going on with it.
that's what I was finding out.
But like there's been so many things I read that I'm just like, oh well, it makes sense that this is also contributing to the bubble. The last thing I read was about 3M, and they were partnering with Bitfury to do like a commercial mining facility in the country of Georgia. And when I hear that, I'm just like, I think the investors in China are probably worried that they're going to have a hell of a lot more difficulty to contend with, so now they're snatching their Bitcoins back up or something along those lines.
Oh, interesting.
Then on top of that, there's also the capital controls that have been going on. So I think a lot of people have been like, Zero Hedge posted an article on the day that they announced that, and it was literally like coincides perfectly with this whole run-up. So capital controls seems to be doing a lot in terms of getting the money out of China after they got rid of they're doing inflation now or something like.
The other thing that was interesting was that big Economist front page thing.
That was like halfway up the run though, right?
Yeah, it was halfway up the run.
That probably got us a whole other level higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was spurring some interest in it again.
I'd like to interject and propose another theory.
Yes?
One thing I've been looking at lately is time scales and timing of things. If you look back at the beginning here, we had our first attempt at the 300s over here. And then you look again, the next attempt was around this time scale, so again, took that along. And again, if you just double that space one more time, we're actually just due for another attempt at 300 at this time, except this time it actually broke through.
Right.
3 attempts with the same time scale all year, and we finally reached that one. It happens to happen in November. All the stars kind of align for it to occur. Plus all the good news, going everywhere kind of really helped push it through and finally pop that the 322 level that was holding everything down.
That's interesting.
Timing is everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it looks like a good healthy beat between all of them. It's actually like a similar time frame.
Yeah.
Right?
And also when BTC China announced they were opening up bank deposits, it was like turning on the floodgates of money to enter the market.
Oh
So
yeah.
interesting.
Kiko posted a funny article though about the whole capital controls thing. Apparently, the fine for breaching capital controls is like $150. It's like a parking ticket.
But is that a lot of money to them?
I don't think it is when you're a Chinese
millionaire?
Bitcoin whale.
Yeah, gotcha. Interesting.
Jesse, what do you think?
I'd be more focused on like the altcoins seem to be going down a bit.
Oh yeah.
It sucks because people are FOMO, I guess. Gotta trade them back for bitcoins.
Yeah, yeah. Me and Not So Fast were talking about that earlier today on Twitter. Is what we were shopping for alts. So trying to figure out what's the good bags to be accumulating right now.
Huh.
I would say Monero is the only green thing on the whole chart right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, XMR and Monero. I mean, it's the support that appeared today on the bottom of it, quadrupled in the past few hours. If you go look down, there's like 90,000 units of buy orders in the bottom with very little on the top.
This is Monero?
Yeah, so I'd say the Monero will be the next one that's going to rally up in the next couple of weeks.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn,
if you just go look at the bit support on that right now, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, Bitcoin's doing great though.
Yeah, I was just.
People are just starting to realize how amazing it is. I heard they're putting a satellite into space. Is that happening anytime soon?
I heard that already like a year ago that they were going to put a miner in space of some sort, or they're going to have a copy of the blockchain on a node.
Blockchain up there. That might be happening soon, like in a year, maybe.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, I think there's a lot of shit going into space in the next couple months.
Yeah. Have you guys seen that log chart that I have on the screen share before?
The which, sorry?
I have a log chart on the screen share right now. Can you see that one?
No, we're just looking at your beautiful face.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Let me just launch that again and see if it will share. Hold on a second. The entire screen.
Oh.
And share. Okay, there we go.
Something's coming up. There we go.
There we go. So this is the log chart. And what I like about this one is it talks about Elliott wave theory. And you can see that we have the first wave to 1200 here, wave 1. And this dreadful bear market called wave 2, which we got to the bottom right here where the changes occurred. Now we're about to end historical wave 3. And the thing about Elliott wave is that the third wave has to be bigger and longer than the previous two and not break the levels from beforehand. So when you look at the target for the next couple of years, or this could go, if it follows this chart, looking at, $103,000 by, 2018, 2019.
I'm sorry, did you say $100,000?
Logarithmic speaking, there's nothing unreasonable about that estimate.
It's a logarithmic scale on that, so yeah.
So, we're going to have hold on a second, my cat's eating my headphone wire here, hold on.
That's
We're going to have an attempt at 1200 in the next little while, which may not actually break it, but in the next few months, going into the halving around here, we're probably going to break that, and then after that, the sky's the limit.
So did you guys get a chance to see Pontus's prediction on, he called kind of the similar numbers of like 120K as the next bubble?
Really?
Yeah.
That's so insane.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people were thinking that when he first came out about it a month ago. But like here, if I press the plus button, you can see we're moving in pretty good. Like we actually went a bit higher than his projection. But yeah, he's kind of calling the same sort of trend line. So
makes sense. There's only 21 million Bitcoin, so even if you have one Bitcoin, that's a lot to have.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
100 million Satoshis? Or is it 10 million Satoshi?
It'd be 1 million bits, so 100 million Satoshis.
Yeah, 100 million Satoshi.
Oh yeah.
One Bitcoin.
Well, the interest rate has been dropping down. I think it got below 6%, and let's see what our supply is at. I think we're almost at 15 million right now. So like we're getting into what's it called, the deflationary sort of stage. We've been really inflationary for a while, and the fact that we had this hard floor of like 250 for an entire year really speaks a lot about Bitcoin. So just on CoinMarketCap, they're reporting that we're at 14.8 million coins. So yeah, we're well over 70%. So get them now while they're cheap.
That's pretty much it. Like, I don't see a floor happening. It'll be fantastic if we do, and perverse if we do break back below like the previous supports below 300, like 285. Eduardo, you're going to know the support numbers a lot better than me for Bitcoin. But if we ever do, it's going to be one of those perverse spikes like we saw back below $200 in previous that don't last very long. Just like a massive shakeout dump.
If it drops below 300, buy them by the truckloads.
Yep.
What I think we're at right now, we're range bound for the next few weeks.
Yep.
Probably around between 280 and 420.
Yeah, that's what Brian says too.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking the same. Well, and I didn't really want to recommend too many people to buy Bitcoin until I saw a clean break of 350. I think this is probably the cleanest break you can get. So to come down to any sort of reasonable level around 350 would be buying opportunity galore.
Mm-hmm.
And if you did buy at the peak last time of 1,200 or so, or 1,000,
Yeah.
you should definitely think about grabbing just as much as you already have.
Yeah, average down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
We're
Buy
buy
those bits.
Even if you can't get one Bitcoin, 0.1 of a Bitcoin is still 10 million Satoshi.
Yeah.
See, I like to think
Get whatever you can get.
I like to think in bits more than anything, though. Like it's like when I own a Bitcoin, yeah, I got 100 million, or I got 1 million bits. It's like, yeah, that's going to be worth a while or a lot, and Satoshis will be like cents, you know. Bits are going parity with the dollar. I'm calling it now.
What's it cost again to send? It's for
right
bits.
Right now it's about 200 bits.
200 bits.
Yeah, the cost's probably gone up a little bit right now because the blocks are like been peak full. Which is the other funny thing. I haven't heard too much about XT and the block size debate.
But I didn't hear anything about Bips 101. Anybody hear about the Bips 101 thing? It's huge.
No.
Yeah, I think that's probably the next block size. Well, it included a couple things like block increase with 1. I wasn't sure if it was dynamic or not. I didn't read enough into it.
Can I see that clicker for a sec?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. So you guys want to talk about what happened this week and get into detail, or what do you want to do?
I got a couple random questions here.
Okay, go for it.
Why do you guys think there's 21 million coins was the upper limit?
That was never addressed anywhere in the original white paper?
I don't believe so. I think it was like an arbitrary number. He just said it was going to decrease in coins being dispersed until about 21 million. So it's not going to be exactly 21 million,
Yeah.
but
I think he did it like in terms of time period. He's like, okay, well, I want 10-minute blocks, and okay, I want it to have the reward to cut in half at this period and this period, and then that number just shook out to a 21 million coin total. I think that's how we came by that number, honestly.
Eduardo, what do you think?
I believe it was a mixture of time scale versus growing the transaction fee market. It had to be sustainable to get there. I'm not sure if you guys, there's a website where you can like watch the blockchain in real time and you can hear the sounds of it, and it makes sounds, and you see these bubbles of transactions floating by. Yeah. And during this madness this week, there was one block in particular that happened during the middle of the madness, and I was seeing multiple 25,000 coin transactions flowing through in those 10 minutes. And ended up building up to about 943,000 coins moved in one block. But the transaction fees to move, which you know is about $500 million, was $173.
Wow.
So $500 million move, and it's very, very small transaction fees. So in order for us to get into a fee market that's actually sustainable, which goes into the XT thing and everything else, where they're trying to screw that up, I don't believe it should go that way. That's why it was built that way, because we have to build that fee market to actually support transaction volumes of that size.
Yeah, I think a lot of people into Bitcoin right now don't really understand the economic parts of sort of the long-term block reward reduction being replaced by the additional fees that it will cost someone to get in on one of the early blocks. And I think it's starting to get addressed. Like, people are thinking, okay, well, like the main Bitcoin blockchain, there's there's not going to be any, $1,000, like $5,000 value dust anymore, approaching long-term saturation of usage. It's going to be removing large amounts of money or value for relatively very impossibly small cost, but it won't be used for tipping or micropayments or anything like Bitcoin directly.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot more off-chain solutions kind of coming about.
Yeah, like tons of them actually.
Yeah, like ChangeTip is all off-chain. That's the only way ChangeTip could work.
Yeah.
As for the 21 million, the best excuse I've read was actually like a limitation in majority of like bookkeeping software, like Excel and whatnot. Your floating point numbers can only be it's like 2 to the power of 56, and the amount of satoshis that 21 million bitcoins is just below that number. So it's like, okay, he made it like the perfect size, because any bigger, then you got to expand to 2 float numbers. So in terms of bookkeeping software, it won't break it, or it's very efficient for it. It like maxes it out. So when I heard that, I'm like, that makes no sense to me.
So yeah, so basically,
I remember reading that now.
Go ahead. You read that too?
I think I remember reading that now. That's right. You're right, Satoshi. You're right.
I think he just dropped a lot of acid and just like the number just came out in his brain, like to be 21 million because of the floating points of everything.
Maybe he was going to make it 42 million, because like 42 is the answer to everything. But then like he fucked up a digit somewhere and it came out as half. It's like, fuck it, we're rolling with it.
Get a havoc.
Like there's maybe 21 million bitcoins we don't know about somewhere out there.
Yeah, maybe.
I believe those are dark bitcoins or nega bitcoins.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious.
They're the XT coins.
Yeah. So what's our next question?
The Satoshi wallet. Do you think Satoshi has this 1 million coins, or did he destroy the keys, or will he dump it on the market at some point? Eduardo.
Oh, you're on mute.
Okay, that one fell on me. Okay. Will he dump on the market? I think he loves this project too much to just dump them that quick. And he also knows that the moment that those coins move, it will be seen on the blockchain, and there's going to be panics all over the markets. So he'll probably just let them be for a very long time if he truly values the project.
Yeah, interesting. Go ahead, not so fast.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's got some use planned for them that won't really shock the market, but it will do something amazing. And who's to say? Like, I wouldn't really want to try and ponder the ineffable mysteries of Satoshi, but he's definitely not going to be moving them anytime until Bitcoin and as it's seen in the world is very, very different, much more saturated, and the amount of value that his wallet would represent would be this incredible, too big to have the effect that you would think of a market dump or anything like that.
I think, this is a ridiculous idea, but when you guys asked the questions I were talking about, in my brain I was like, he might try to pull some altruistic thing, like give it to people that don't have it en masse, you know what I mean? Like
find all the smallest wallets and bump them all up.
Yeah, or something where like every African gets one just for being African, because
that works so well for Aurora coin.
What? Well, you mean I'm just saying, like that's what popped into my head first, was that something altruistic and maybe has something to do with space or the equalization, because we're all going to be loaded, but other people are not going to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe they'll send like a cryptic email and then lock it up in a smart contract and say, first person who brings this gold asteroid that was discovered back to Earth gets all these points, like just to keep the market in balance. Like I'm going to buy gold with it, gold that isn't on the market yet.
Yeah. Oh, he might do it to puppeteer like world wars and create arms races, space races. He might be doing it to take over the world economically once we're all using Bitcoin. So
buy out the entire debt, all of it.
He might do that. That's true.
Yeah.
Interesting what you were saying, Eduardo, about as soon as the coins move, the market would probably react. There was a thing about a couple months ago with blockchain.info. Their API, I guess, had a flaw, and someone was able to fake that transaction showing up. So everyone thought Satoshi coin had moved. So the market did dump, I think, about like $15 in that instance until everyone realized it was just blockchain.info.
That's crazy.
Jesse, what do you think?
I'm thinking we should fork Bitcoin and take his coins away.
Yeah?
And just destroy them.
Interesting.
Oh, well, that's what we could do with basically every unused or touched wallet, or any because people have lots of private keys. I think that's a major issue. All the people that lost the private keys and not all those coins that can't be touched for eternity according to the present rules. You know what I'm saying? I think that's baloney. We gotta turn that back on.
Well, maybe it'll be like a lottery in the future of it's just like a supercomputer, and the amount of uptime you buy is the amount of your share, and if they ever find a private key that's holding.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing some random site of they were using a supercomputer to try and crack private keys. They were basically just checking addresses millions per second.
That's going to happen one day.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so the Bitcoin is going to have to improve their security one day.
Yep.
Yeah. Still a lot of wallets though. Like the chances of you creating a private key that someone else is currently using and holding coins in.
With this technology, at the present moment, you're right.
At the present moment, it's hard, but in 10 years.
I thought they crunched the number though with like some like theoretical limit. Like if you had a computer the size of the solar system, you couldn't crack the amount of addresses in like a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, but that in what dimension though?
Whoa.
There's also if they start getting some solutions like quantum algorithms, if they're able to start cracking that stuff, right? Like those algorithms become a lot less complicated, and you might be able to use that like quantum computing in tandem, trying to brute force the lower subsets of private key combinations in order to crack things more easily, and then I don't know. Once quantum encryption starts getting cracked, that might start to happen. It might become easier.
I wonder what the difficulty is going to be at that point.
It's going to be pretty intense.
Yeah, right. Oh, that was something we talked about last night. We were looking at the difficulty of Bitcoin, and it seems like it ramped up almost like a week before Bitcoin started going up.
That actually might be an interesting sort of way of figuring out, future boosts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
it's hard to read though because it changes so infrequently, right? I don't even remember the difficulty period, but it's so long. I mean, I'm so used to short difficulty changes with altcoins, like every block or every few blocks, and Bitcoin takes like 2 weeks for its difficulty to change. So a lot can happen in that time.
Okay. Well, Brady, want to share my screen?
Oh yeah, how do I do that again?
Click on the screen there. There you go. All right, so yeah, like you can see in like March and April. I think March we had like the first decrease in difficulty in like a couple years, or I don't know. Someone had to check my facts on me. It was definitely within over a year. But then yeah, we can see we're ramping up again in like July, and then August we're still going, and that's when the price really started to go up again. But yeah, not so fast. I think you got a good point. It is really hard to kind of gauge it.
Like all we're really going to be able to do is the zoomed out long period, like 1 day or like a 1 month bar chart, and you'll just see the difficulty go parabolic like everything else. It's pretty much all you're going to be able to see from that.
I'm just like the eternal cynic in me, or whatever you want to call it, or risk seeker. It's always like what could be our major downfall? Where it's like what Jesse was talking about. Is when it's like quantum computing between now and 10 years is going to be a reality, right?
So I think that's an easy fix.
Yeah.
It is.
Just fork the source code.
Yeah.
Change algorithms.
Yeah, stall the chain, add some quantum proof algorithms, and you're good to go.
Change the addressing, because right now it's 60 bits, so it's 2 to the 60. So if you change it to be like double that, then it's there you go. Your difficulty just for creating wallets is just doubled.
Computers double in power every year.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to. That's why it's gonna catch up pretty fast.
Well, that's scary shit.
Mm. But yeah, I think the rest of the systems are way more vulnerable. Like, so especially it's more future-proof because you realize that difficulty needs to increase. But like credit card companies are probably shaking in their boots if they didn't have anything to go to. Like, this is at least a next step progression. We all can agree that this is better than the current system.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, like if quantum encryption gets cracked, Bitcoin's going to be the most secure system out there compared to like password 1 on your bank account, right? Like
that's a good point.
Everything will be enforceable instantly, and Bitcoin will be a relative safe haven.
I have a question for Eduardo. Eduardo, do you have any really fun old stories that you want to tell us about your time, sniping and dumping in the last couple of years?
Let's see. I think the last fun I really had was when 500 was broken, and I dumped shortly after that, and then waited for the bottom. And I try not to do too much day trading anymore. I'm trying to play the longer term swings, simply for the simple fact it's just way less stressful.
Yeah.
It's there's nothing beats a good old fashioned brain endorphin, Bitcoin rally, adrenaline rush. But it gets really intense if you do that for too long, and I'm getting kind of old. Yeah, I have to relax a little bit more and not ride those waves of adrenaline every day. So now I'm trying to play the longer term swings.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Getting old sucks. It's killing me, man. It really is. This week was freaking insane.
Yeah.
You can sleep, right? You can sleep. You're checking the price in the middle of the night.
I know.
So many guys I know didn't sleep.
Yeah. It was just right back to 2013 for me. First time I had 4 screens up in front of me in a long, long time.
It's a really good feeling.
It is. Yeah, it's war. I was telling a girl in a chat last night on Facebook. It's the opposite of sex. It's it is sexy when you're winning, but my God, it's more draining than anything, and it definitely does not bring any youth back into you. You know what I mean? It squeezes out that. What are you doing with that cat?
Yeah. The opposite, the bear market is dreadful.
Yeah.
It is dreadful, and this thing went for so. Oh, look at Grace.
Yeah, that's great. Look how big she got, eh?
Holy cow.
Hey, she's not a cow. Be careful, she's a female. She'll get hurt.
She's holy cat. That's a cute white cat.
I know, she is a white cow. They grew up fast, but I'm going to be going to Asia next month or in January.
Yeah.
So I got to find a place for these guys to hang out for a little while. All right, so do you have any more questions for these cats?
Well, we were talking a little bit earlier on altcoins, and Eduardo, you mentioned Monero. So I pulled up the chart here, and I agree, it's definitely on a buy location. We're right at that old support level.
Oh yeah, totally.
I think I got the most history here on Polomex. But
All-time lows.
That is a real good looking buy chart.
It's the healthiest of all the alts that I can see, and those of us that were not around at the beginning of Bitcoin, who didn't have the opportunity to buy thousands of them, of all the different alts I've analyzed the past few years, I'd say this is the one that's most likely to beat Bitcoin 2.0.
Wow.
So if you can get your hands on a few thousand of them for these prices right now and hang on for the next few years, this is probably the best bet you can have on the alts. And this is from my own due diligence that I've done over time.
What would a few thousand cost? I can't see that.
you could buy 1,000
for 1 Bitcoin. It looks like.
Yeah. If you want to spend 10, you can get 10,000. And ride the 5-digit multiplier, which is a really nice one.
Yeah, it is. What about Ether? What do you think of Ether, Eduardo?
Well, there's basically 3 of them that I agree. I think Ether is it's still in a bear market. I don't think that it has recovered. I think it's going to be lower price Ether, and I have not dipped my toes into that yet. I'm still waiting. When the time comes, I will grab a few, just for the sake of having it as a side bet. And the other one that I've been looking at, which has been really interesting, is Dash, which used to be Darkcoin.
Ooh,
And,
that's what you. Yep.
of all the different alts, those three, Dash, Ether, and Monero, are the ones that I really truly consider actual investments. Everything else out there is pretty much garbage.
What do you think of Litecoin? It's still pretty.
Yeah.
I hate to be that guy, but Litecoin's pretty liquid, right? No.
I don't think it has a future. I think if we see Litecoin, above $1 next year, it'll be lucky.
Hmm.
Yeah, it has not broken
agree.
its long-term downtrend, and it's going to continue going down.
Gotcha. What about not so fast? What are you thinking?
I totally agree with Dash and Monero. From a fundamental standpoint, I was into Dash first, and Monero had a lot to offer, probably equally or more so than Dash. There are a lot of other technologically sound, if not yet chart technically sound altcoins out there that Eduardo you should probably take a look at. I can fire you a list,
Mm-hmm.
but Vanilla Coin definitely take a look at. There's a few like small time blockchain projects that I think will be self-sustaining. That with separate blockchains from Bitcoin, a good bunch of them actually for specific applications that will
Mm-hmm.
use their own network and not really have to rely on a big important network such as Bitcoin's. So I've got my ear to the ground for all of those. Like I'm always seeking value.
Yeah, Vanilla hit bottom
Yeah,
today too.
What's that?
Vanilla looks like it's up some old resistance levels, or it's getting pretty close.
Got bashed down real hard in this rally because a lot of people, I guess, bought fairly expensive bags of it fairly recently.
Yeah.
I should actually read you something about the developer because he's an anonymous tech developer that seems to know everybody who's anybody in like the old school of programmer. Like I'm talking, he knows personally the guys who developed Gnutella or Nutella, whatever it is. He knows the people. Like he knows personally Sean Fanning, who developed Napster. He knows a lot of people from like old school tech, and he will not at any cost reveal what his identity is. But we think he's kind of really far up there.
Is it Mark Zuckerberg?
It's not Mark Zuckerberg. It's Randy Zuckerberg, maybe. His sister.
I forgot to mention one more coin actually, which I did my toes into. It's called New Coins, and it's the second most successful IPO other than Ethereum.
Oh wow. Yeah, I think I still gotta claim my free ones from doing the survey.
Oh yeah.
So I did my toes into that as a side bet. I put in one Bitcoin into that, and it's sitting there doing its thing. It's got a nice proof of stake mining reward. If you lock it in for a year, you get extremely good returns on it. So if something ever comes off of that, it'll be great. What they do have dialed more than any other coin, I think, is their marketing plan. And I think all the other coins should be looking what they're doing as a model of how to actually market and get these tokens out to the hands of the regular people. In particular through like a social media gaming and earning the new coins through these games, and then being able to spend them and do stuff with them.
Yeah. Freemium games are all doing like, oh, buy these gems or buy these coins and fix the Simpsons City or whatever. But like, yeah, it'd be nice if there was something interchangeable. Like if you're buying one freemium deal. I think they've got something good going on, and they have a lot of capital fund to throw around. I heard from Bill from Bittrex that they're getting some to actually like give away to their users. So that's exciting.
Is Augur considered an altcoin?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
So that might be an interesting. People are talking about that one too. I don't have the depth of knowledge to comment on it, but another one that people have been talking about is Augur. You know what I mean?
I think Augur has a big risk. It's if a cryptocurrency gets shut down by a legal system, it's gonna be Augur, because if you can place like monetary future-proof bets on anything, you can place bets on whether, for example, a certain figurehead will be assassinated, and then people will have a financial motivation to make that happen, right?
That's crazy.
So Augur is full of risk. Like, I stayed away from it because of that. I thought, you know
You
what?
can put a price on someone's head with it, and if the group decides that's a good bet and raises the value of that bet, then that's probably going to happen.
It sounds like an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
It is an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, man. It's Augur. It's coming out.
Augur.
Soon.
There's a lot of oops.
Augur starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
There are a lot of implications that can go with that, and in particular, in the old days, somebody did something bad, the whole town would come after them, and it's like, everyone's got their torches coming down on them. You can use Augur for that same purpose.
Yeah, it's crypto-economic lynching, man. You nailed it.
And it's a decentralized justice system that could be taken into people's own hands.
Yeah, it's like a death row democracy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
So did either of you guys buy into the Ethereum pre-sale or ICO?
I did
I
not.
bought the dumps.
Good plan. Yeah.
I bought some, but I lost my key.
Friday.
I know, I'm stupid, but whatever.
You did?
You've been around for so long.
I know.
Private keys.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like a wallet or something. They told me to put it somewhere, and I don't know where I fucking put it.
I guess if you lost yours, maybe Satoshi lost his private keys.
Yeah, probably. And the other thing is, but I've been mining it like crazy.
Yeah, you did good on mining. I'm
Yeah.
proud of you for that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Not so fast. Did you mine any of it?
I didn't mine any Ethereum. My rigs aren't. I never had the chance to set up any rigs for it. I just keep trying to keep mining the stuff that's low to the ground before people have really heard about it or latched onto it yet. I'm always seeking the buzzard value of altcoins to mine.
Today I saw you talking about a new coin, Blur, and you said there's some sort of mod that's pretty cool about it.
No, there's literally nothing cool about Blur. It's just the only shitcoin to be launched that doesn't have a Trojan attached to it in the past 3 weeks, and apparently it has clean code. So it's not even worth mentioning further than this right now.
Okay.
Moving on.
That's kind of what I've been experiencing. I don't really see any of these, black swans coming out of Bitcoin or the forums. I don't really see anything. Every coin that's going to be launched from now on is going to be some sort of institution, or they're going to have some sort of backing. There maybe will be a couple coders that have a cool project that maybe picks up some steam.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to see mining one of these coins and then it starts taking off. I think they're all just projects at this point. People are just trying to learn more about how to build blockchains.
Well, we have DevCon happening on I think this weekend, right? And that's Vitalik's going to be there, and he's got a big Ethereum push happening at DevCon. Is it this weekend, Jesse? Do you know? Yeah, it's this weekend. Yeah, cool. So I mean that kind of thing, and Ethereum had a very good last couple of weeks with news. The whole Microsoft thing. Yeah. They're pulling in another apparently $50 million from a Chinese investment conglomerate to build something for the Chinese. I don't know, some sort of Chinese blockchain. I don't know.
I think they might be developing some dApps.
Oh, some dApps. Yeah. For the Chinese.
dApps are everywhere, man.
dApps are
everywhere.
everywhere.
Switch to dApps.
Yeah. I got a funny Chinese story. Can I tell it quickly? Okay, so I went with some friends to an Italian restaurant. One of them is a lawyer, and she ordered some calamari, and she's used to having it with chopsticks at milestones. Anyway, so we had 3 waiters. One of them comes by, and he's a Chinese guy at an Italian restaurant. The only Chinese employee in the whole restaurant. This is a terrible joke, but it's funny. And she goes, "Hey, can I get some chopsticks over here for my calamari?" And he looked at her like, "Are you asking me that because I'm Chinese or what?" And she was like, and he's like, "No." I'm like, and then he walked away. And I was like, "Dude, that was hilarious." Sorry, I had to tell that joke. everybody.
Inadvertent racism or misconstrued racism?
Well, he thought it was like he checked it for something. He goes, she has to become Chinese, but it was just because she wanted to eat her calamari with chopsticks.
She asked him because he's a waiter. That's why.
That's exactly right. Exactly.
Because he's a waiter. Oh man.
That was my funny story of the day.
Okay.
What else we got?
Going back to my screen here, Freddie.
Okay.
Looking at Ether, it looks like it did a really bullish move here. Like it bounced.
Yeah, it did.
Like, well, I don't know if it just bounced. Maybe we'll put here, but yeah, we hit that low again, but we didn't go lower. So I think that's pretty bullish, at least from what Brian's been teaching me.
I do find the volume profile on that to be discouraging.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't have enough juice to break through it, and that's why I have not bought yet.
Yeah, but the same can be said about what's happening with Bitcoin right now. In the last like 3 days, 2 days. Right?
Yeah.
We've got zero volume, guys. The volume is really, really low.
Yeah, it's very similar, and again, that's why it's not a buy anymore. It's probably going to go down before it goes up again.
Wait. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's still been performing remarkably well with all the other alts dropping. Like,
That's true.
I think it's probably people's best performing portfolio piece. Maybe with a couple other ones.
Well, what we have there, that rising bottom, you know what I mean, is not so bad. You know, it's not a bad looking bit of bottom, right? I think I'm helpful on that one. I think with DevCom or whatever the fuck it's called, DevCon, that's gonna come up. I think we're gonna have a run on this one.
That's why I bought some today, because I'm like, DevCon seems like a good opportunity. Like, that's what happened. What was the last?
The big PR show.
Yeah, there's a conference a couple weeks ago. What was pumping? I'm forgetting now. But yeah, you can definitely tell there's money floating around when like people are walking around these shows. They'll see something, and then that night they'll maybe want to buy it, or even at the show. So I'm a little bullish on it. So maybe I'll get burned, but I think I'll do all right with some of it. We'll see.
Looking at the market cap compared to Bitcoin is low.
Yeah.
It's like about 1/10 of Litecoin even.
Oh wow.
So like just look at the market cap. Ethereum is an amazing one. There's a chance for like 1,000 times return over like the next 5 years or so.
That's intense.
Yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no limit to the supply of Ethereum, right? They didn't cap it, did they?
Once it goes proof of stake, yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Then at that point, it's like an annual interest rate.
Okay.
Right now, yeah, but I guess right now, I don't know if mining rewards are depreciating at all.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Then.
Well, that's just I think that's difficulty. More miners mining, so you just get less coins. I think block reward is the same.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. I hear what you're saying. Nice one, Jesse.
Like
Thanks,
Ethereum, I
man.
love Ethereum. It's one of the best ones.
I like Ethereum too. So what were just some of what we're looking at? Monero,
Monero's great.
Dark Coin, or what's it called?
It's called Dash
now.
Yeah.
Ethereum and New Coin was the other one. New Coin.
Yeah.
Of course, we now have to talk about Justin Trudeau
Oh yeah.
winning.
Oh yeah. So Justin Trudeau won.
Marijuana soon.
Legalizing marijuana.
All right, Jesse, tell us one weed going to buy.
1 week coin to buy. Well, Dope Coin seems to be doing really
Sorry,
good. Right
Dope Coin.
now. Dope Coin.
So we're talking about weed coins right now. They're coins that have to do with weed and marijuana and stuff. And
Yeah.
Jesse's a big proponent and a holder of these, he's the expert.
Yeah.
So Dope Coin.
But they're all good. Canacoin out of Seattle. Probably the most technologically advanced developers. Dope Coin, they've been posting some pictures of people growing marijuana. Not much, just a few plants.
That's awesome.
And the hemp coin is the cheapest of all.
Hemp coin.
But they have
That's not good.
cannabis coin has dropped down a lot in value.
Cannabis coin.
They have a public dev, D9,
D9.
Delta 9.
Delta 9.
He loves the children.
Oh.
Sick children. He grows the CBD stuff,
That's good.
helping them out.
So your favorite one right now is Dope Coin, correct?
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of activity, people talking, the
Okay.
devs around.
So I mean, I think you got a really good. I think this is a really interesting conversation, bit actually. It's a very valuable commodity.
Yeah.
Cash, the banks, the traditional banking
It's
systems.
never existed in the world.
What's that?
Marijuana.
Marijuana has
It's just kind of like
as a commodity,
yeah,
as
it's a real legal.
legal commodity, and it's consumable. and it's got medical benefits. But the thing that's most interesting is traditional banks tend to shy away from it, which means there's a definite opportunity.
Well, maybe not anymore.
That's true too.
I heard a couple guys playing cannabis stocks during the election time. Like basically, whoever got elected, the stocks were going to react to it, and it was pretty.
They did.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I think there was even a little bump when the election day happened. I'm trying to remember what point I saw it on.
Do you guys, Eduardo, or not so fast, you guys have any comments or insight or predictions about marijuana and crypto?
The marijuana coins, there's more on that theme than any other coin, I think. I mean, there was also, besides the ones you mentioned, then there was Mary J, which has some kind of...
Oh, sorry about Mary J, that was amazing too.
Yeah, there was one, it's probably the worst one, called My Sweetie Weed coin. The symbol was WETK. I mined a shit ton of that, and somehow somebody smashed my really high offer. I made almost like half a Bitcoin from half a day's of mining. It was stupid. Somebody was holding that bag.
Oh, shout out one more. Bonger.
Bonger?
Bongers. That is the most altcoin, actually. Their theme, their slogan is what? Bongers, we. That's their slogan.
That's ridiculous.
It's less than 1 Satoshi per coin.
That's
hilarious. Yeah, it's a Litoshi coin now.
Yeah.
Most markets don't even like bid that low. How do they even get that?
It's only on the LTC market.
Oh, okay, that's right. So you're bidding Litoshi.
Yeah, Litoshi.
Yeah,
to the LTC market. That's so interesting. It's like in my hometown, London, Ontario, that's the Transit Commission. That's so funny. Eduardo, what do you think of this marijuana coin stuff?
Okay, I have a couple of thoughts on that. In particular, also the new government too. So the first one is there's so many pot-related tokens. It's almost overwhelming at this point. And I think the industry really benefit from actually stepping back and focusing on something that already works, like Dash or Monero, for example, which has got lots of support, and actually just put the weight behind that. So that way the payment gateways and moving that in and out of places will be a lot easier. And in regards to the new government, the Trudeau government, where I think one of the things that's been discussing a lot is electoral reform and also electronic voting. And we're actually an opportunity, or we could actually implement blockchain voting in Canada if we play our cards right and start presenting that to the new government in a nice, proper, well-packaged way. So we can actually have better voting systems that are more secure, more trustworthy, and more efficient than we actually have right now. Like an electronic voting system that was blockchain-based will actually be far better than a paper-based system that we have right now, and we get instant results right away.
Yeah, so I
That would be
mean,
amazing.
so basically, are you saying that like identity-based tokens are going to be like a thing?
Yeah, no, for example, let's say we're having an election. Right now we get a voter registration card in the mail and we go vote, okay?
Yeah.
That could be easily faked. There's all kinds of things that could happen between you and the ballot being cast, and also in the counting process. Now, if instead of getting a card in the mail with a piece of paper, you're actually getting a key that allows you to vote from, at the ballot or from your computer, from an app on your phone that can only be voted once, and that's it. That one actually have accountability in real-time voting results. They can actually trust more than the system that we have right now.
Yeah.
And I think
So you're
that's
like saying you would mail out, you receive in the mail your public key.
A paper wallet with like a private key with
No,
one vote coin on it.
No, but you wouldn't need the private key. You'd only need the public key because that's what you'd vote with.
But when you want to send, like,
it will be a private key because it's a one-time use only. After it's used, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that private key can stay with the government, or it does, because once the public key is exchanged or it's moved to the voting wallet, if it's a voting wallet, once it's moved there to vote for Trudeau or whoever, then it's done, and you don't have the public keys anymore. Oh, you need it to vote though with, don't you?
Yeah, like basically you would just you would get one coin, vote coin, and then you would probably send it to whatever recipient you want to win.
But you can't give away private keys for voting because what will end up happening is you guys will say, look, I don't want to vote because I'm an anarchist. Here's my private key. I'll take that and do damage with it in my way. So we can't really be swapping around.
Isn't that good though?
Is it good? Proxy voting?
I could give you my vote. You can vote.
I don't know if proxy voting is good. Eduardo, what do you think? Do you think proxy voting is a good thing?
I mean, if you can't vote and you need someone else to go vote for you, why not? I think that's great. But I think there's many ways to work to actually resolve those problems. But I think that blockchain-based voting is the base of beginning to address all of those. I know there's going to be different situations where someone loses their card, you have to generate a new key at the ballot station instantaneously so they can actually go vote because they lost their previous one. So you have to cancel that previous key from before. Things need to be worked out, but I think that we are in a space where we can finally bring some accountability to the voting system and prevent any sort of fraud like robocalls from ever affecting our elections again.
The thing I like the most about this is you can see who you voted for.
Yeah.
You can go on the blockchain and see the vote counted, and that's who you voted.
That's actually really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is pretty fucking cool, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could save tons of money in the process too. For example, instead of spending all this money doing all this stuff, you can say, okay, well, this is the voting network. Let's dish out some money for the miners who are going to mine all these votes in return for doing all this work, so that the voting system itself becomes decentralized. It's not sitting in some computer in a government that we know could be compromised.
Yeah, they'll pay the miners for the security that they provide to the voting network.
Yeah.
So what? They're all getting extra votes so that they can vote?
No, it will be an actual financial reward for mining all the votes.
Okay.
You have to create a system that works. There's ways to work around that, but I think we got something that if the government is actually listening, like they say they are, we should start at least coordinating our efforts to see if that's a possibility.
Logistically, that would happen by mining, giving the miners like token A. And those, there's a second token on that same blockchain, token B, that is distributed to people as votes.
Mm-hmm.
Just two tokens on the same chain.
Mm-hmm.
You can do this with an Ether smart contract pretty easily. Everyone gets a token, you vote, and then after the time periods expire, then they send back that one vote to everyone that voted. So you basically keep getting your vote coin back for the next election, and really that could evolve into us voting weekly on different policies and whatnot. Because if enough people are voting on Reddit with Karma, we could easily get a decent government going in the same sort of fashion.
The current government is very archaic.
Well, everything's archaic.
It's
That's institutionalized.
You should be able to change your vote at any time and vote on things in real time.
Guys, we're still in the beginning of this whole fucking thing, aren't we?
Oh
right?
yeah, we're baby steps. We're baby steps right now.
It's ridiculous because look at everything, even universities. When you're talking, I was thinking about university grads and diplomas and all that stuff. Being put in the blockchain. So when you were talking, that's just when I went to my head. I went from institution to institution. I was like, there's just so much to be done.
Well, we live in a time where counterfeit product is really prevalent. You can make anything, even Canadian bills. I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. But in 10 years, that could be something you can do in your printer because
3D print it.
Yeah, you don't know how great the Canon printers are going to be in a couple of years.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Cool. So, should we get her all? I mean, that was awesome. Should we wrap her down a bit?
Unless you guys want talk about a couple more alts before we wrap up.
Yeah, I love talking about alts.
I found a really good one a couple weeks ago. I don't know if anyone should buy it, but I think it's worth mentioning. Freddie can show my screen.
Okay.
It's called B&B coin. Not bed and breakfast.
Boats and bitches?
Boats and bitches.
Dude, that's my kind of coin.
Pure ICO. They wanted to basically raise money to have a party. So really this is like Arch Coin, but maybe with a bit more legitimate intention. Ooh, burn. I'm sorry, Edgar. I don't mean it, but we're all a little pissed at you right now.
Oh, Jesus.
Boats and Bitches is one in a long string of Yobit ICOs that raised probably less than half a Bitcoin for whoever the developer was, and I guess whoever that was made a bunch of fun altcoins and ICOs, and that exchange. If crypto's the Wild West, the Yobit exchange is like the shittiest saloon in the one-horse town. It is. It's astounding hanging out there. I feel dirty every time I trade there. I've made money selling a ton of altcoins there. It's pretty amazing.
their volume is what, like a half a Bitcoin per day?
No, they've got a good number of coins. It's actually, let me tell you about one that they've got called Yovi. They have it as a rise-only market.
Oh, I've heard about this. Yes.
Yeah, you cannot place buy orders, bids. You can place offers, and you can only buy the next lowest offer. And then once it's stalled, as projects like this will, they made it so that you could only put up to a certain Bitcoin value on every level of the offer. And then when they felt like it, when it got stalled again, they took away that restriction and you could trade it freely. So the price crashed, and then they reinstated the restriction. And of course, the price of the coin went from like 200 Satoshi to 75,000 Satoshi. And then they reinstated the limit and the rise-only market limitations, and then they promoted the hell out of the fact that their in-house coin gained like 7,000% that day. Awesome.
That's great promotion. Yeah, I got their market pulled up here. They did about $6,000 in volume, and the top trading coin is not even Bitcoin. It's Amsterdam coin.
Is that Potcoin?
Is that a Blocktalk?
I must be. I've never heard of it. Amsterdam. Okay, let's. I don't think they have a website. It's literally just, I think, a Bitcoin talk thread.
Yeah, many Yoba coins don't. The most recent one, a couple down, Drop. That's a coin that was basically released as a faucet directly on Yobit, and that's the most legitimate coin on there. Actually, Flycoin is sort of a high-minded ideal project released by a longtime miner in Las Vegas who is trying to make all these centralized stipulations of how to act, and you have to save a certain number of coins in here, and you can stake them, but you can only sell your staking profits, and if you ever sell, you'll get blackballed by the community. It's like pretty much the opposite of anything decentralized that you've ever seen. It's so far from everything that's good about cryptocurrency, and it's just like a little, I don't know, representation of how turned in on itself some of the people involved in altcoins have been. It's
oh damn.
It's a little weird.
Found my next purchase.
What's your next purchase?
Alexium.
Alexium?
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it all.
You buy it all.
It's like a $400 market cap. I can totally afford that.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Flatline.
No, that's price stability right there.
Yeah.
I think you can go far with that one, dude.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a new one. Amps scenarios on Bittrex now. Trading below ICO price.
Yeah.
Scenario?
Scenario is that social media, decentralized social media thing or something like that, isn't
It
it?
looks pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. It's amazing how nerdy stuff is right now. It's like in the 90s, you guys are a bit young for this maybe, but in the 90s when the internet was invented by Al Gore, there was like a lot of super nerdy things in bulletin boards and all those BBBs or whatever they're called. You know, it was super nerdy stuff, but that's kind of like where we are right now in that super nerdy beginnings. But like someday somebody's gonna make things easier and cooler, make like a Mosaic or whatever that first web browser was, and then everything gets kind of crazy. Something's gonna happen soon, like along those lines with this stuff. You know what I mean? Where somebody just puts a user interface that everybody goes, okay, you know what? It's probably an interface issue.
It is.
It is.
If you look at the QT wallet, it absolutely is. QT wallets are ugly and stupid, and we really haven't improved on them very much except for web wallets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, that's like the old green screen that we used to have on the internet, and the Mosaic came out, and Explorer, or whatever it was, and then things just took off. We just had to find that slick surface for everything,
Yeah.
and we're at a whole different level.
That's the one coin that we've had on the show a couple times. IO coin has been really good, I think, improving usability.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to get that guy from Edmonton too. I forgot about him.
Oh yeah.
You could have had him in tonight.
From Lifecoin.
Yeah, Lifecoin.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to.
He's on the same channel. That's all about that. How it looks on top.
Oh yeah. Because like you need to have like some decent applications for it.
So it's IO coin. Is that what that is?
IO coin, because they're doing a couple things similar to like Syscoin we heard from last week.
Yeah.
Their wallet's a little rough around the edges right now, but like IO coin's got the same alias system, so you can actually like I'm gonna send this to Freddie, and then like Freddie has a address correlated with it.
Like a one name sort of thing.
Yeah, and then they have a couple other things like they're trying to do a decentralized Twitter of some sort, random shit like that. But like they're coming along, and they're also not just like they're not trying to replace Bitcoin. They're trying to build a side chain to grow with Bitcoin. So I think in terms of like a cryptocurrency company, they're one to watch, and they're at about 2,000 Satoshi right now. I would say check them out and look to buy it.
They're another one that got really hammered during the recent Bitcoin rise, and they're sitting on, if not all-time lows. Well, no, not recent all-time lows, but they're in a position of price support, I would say, right now. And I've been buying. They're pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the beauty of Monero as well. It's only a command line wallet right now. So the moment that GUI wallet is released, I would expect there to be quite a big pump right after.
Who we got coming in here?
Yeah, we got John.
John from who?
I think this is John from the Jumbucks channel.
No way.
Nice.
Crazy. Nice hair, John. That's a good shot of you.
Yeah, it's an awesome profile.
Awesome profile picture. I wish I want one like that, dude. We gotta hang out. John, you come back because that's really awesome. So should we wrap this baby up? I'm getting hungry. I don't know what I want to eat tonight, but I'm hungry.
Yeah, we can go for price bets and stuff.
Yeah, let's do a price bet.
Unless you guys have a closing remark, quick.
Yeah, closing remarks.
One real quick one. The bloodbath of altcoins that happened during the recent Bitcoin rip, if you look at market cap in USD, it wasn't so bad. So that told me two things. It told me that still cryptocurrency is pretty much measured in fiat to begin with, and so the rip on Bitcoin didn't really affect the net market cap of the rest of the altcoins in total, which I was just tracking during the whole pricing run to 500 plus and then back down. The net value of all altcoins as measured in USD stayed relatively the same. It didn't really increase by or decrease by any more than 5 or 10% either way. So that would, even though your altcoins are worth fewer Satoshi now, if you have spare Bitcoin and you think they'll bounce back by a greater elasticity, which is kind of the cornerstone of my accumulation strategy, then you're in good shape. So it's a good time to buy altcoins if you believe in altcoins.
Oh yeah.
That's my closing remark.
Interesting. Eduardo, what would you like to say goodnight to tonight?
I'd say keep a close eye on that channel that we discussed earlier, the 280 to 420. And if it dips below that, buy like mad and hold on to it for the next 2 years, because that logarithmic scale graph that we discussed earlier is not unreasonable in any way.
That's incredible. But I mean, I guess what we would have to do then is like put in some buy orders at a really low level. We call them joke buys, because they'll all get snapped up so fast if it does drop that far. Unless you have an order and
you're not going to watch and click buy. I think on some of these catching these knives.
Yeah,
like it is possible, but better safe than sorry.
That's a nice way to describe the knives.
Yeah.
Cool.
So let's do price predictions. So every show we end off with guessing what the price of Bitcoin will be at the next show. And last week we had the Syscoin team on, and I believe Dan guessed 360. And we're at 381, which is closer to him.
Huh.
So, yeah, actually it's closer to me now, but at the beginning of the show it was closer to Dan. So I'll give him the victory.
Nice. Yeah, okay, do that.
All right.
I think I'll give you mine because I run in the bathroom. Okay. I'm going to say 420.
Oh, yeah, something like that.
Oh, yeah, you do that all the time. That's right. 420. I didn't hit the can, guys. If I don't make it back in time, good night, but I probably will. I'll be back.
So, Jesse, you're going 420 as well?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. What am I thinking?
I'm going to the moon.
Yeah.
Right down moon for me.
Just moon?
Moon.
So you're just on the upper end? That's like, this is the equivalent of the $1 Price is Right bid? I'm going for the moon bid.
He's talking the top of the log scale right now. He's talking 110 grand right now.
110 grand.
So, man. Okay, moon.
Okay, so I'm a probable, but I'm going to be slightly bearish in the next little while. And the prediction for next week is going to be somewhere between 333 and 350.
Oh, I'm going to need an exact number, though.
You want an exact number?
Yeah, man. That's how it works.
Okay, I'm going to say 330 then.
230?
330.
330
USD.
All right, yeah, we're doing USD on Bitfinex. Sorry, I'm
I'll be
gonna.
a little more bullish than that and go to 355.
All right. 355. Jeez, where do I want to be in all this? I think I'm gonna stay at 400. No. I think we're gonna do some boring shit for a couple days. And, geez, when's Thanksgiving? Because that means Black Friday's coming. Oh fuck. I'm overthinking this way too much. I'm just gonna go bottom, say 300. All right. And John, he's not in anymore. So I guess we'll leave that at that. Not so fast. Can you tell us quickly before we leave why you go by the name Not So Fast?
At the very beginning, when I got into cryptocurrency, I was looking at people in the Dogecoin IRC posting their hash rates, and my hash rates were nowhere near as fast as theirs, and that's why I chose the name.
Okay.
Because I was not so fast as the people I aspired to mine as many Dogecoins as.
Yeah. Because I remember you telling me you were mining and getting a lot of hardware errors, so I thought it might have been something to do with that. It's like, whoa, not so fast.
Part of it is that too, like looking at that everywhere and anywhere I see it is a guide, a personal guide to not FOMO on anything. So it's a quick second thought before I jump into making a decision in crypto, which I guess maybe has saved my ass. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's very good to know, because we love having you on the show. You're one of our most favorite friends.
Oh,
And,
I appreciate being here.
All right. Well, we'll get you in again soon, and maybe we can
Awesome.
get that old back gambler. He can come out too, because I know he loves to chat with us and lay down some pain.
Tell him I miss him if you see him.
All right, I'll pass that along, and I think for everyone else, Eduardo, it's been very nice to meet you, and I hope we can have you on the panel again too.
Yeah.
Yeah, total pleasure. Thanks for inviting me, guys.
You're amazing, dude. Have a great night. And say hi to Ray.
Yeah, really good to talk to you, Eduardo. Really good to talk to you.
Yeah, pleasure. I look forward to meeting you guys in person in the near future again.
Nice. Awesome. Everybody then, I guess that's good night.
Yeah, sayonara, and see you in the next 1,000 blocks. Next Wednesday, I have Chris Dunn with Kazonomics. I'm just saying that now because I'm going to try and get them all to do it. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's going to be a good show.
Kazonomics. Okay, we're out of here.
Thanks, guys. Good night, everyone.
Ciao.